Alright, this is John Cole with OKRAW.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. In this episode, we're going to expose you guys to some new fruits that you guys probably never tried, and maybe you thought you couldn't even eat them raw. But yes, you can absolutely eat these fruits raw, and we're going to taste these on the camera for you guys today, so stay tuned and let's learn more. So what I want to first say is that I want to encourage you guys to enhance and increase the amounts of fruits and vegetables you guys eat. Today we're talking about the fruits. More importantly, aside from eating more fruits and vegetables, I want you guys to expand your diversity. Many of you guys out there might commonly eat Red Delicious, which I kind of gag on, or maybe even Granny Smith, or even like Fuji apples, and I kind of like Fuji apples myself to eat. Most of the other apples I usually get juiced, and that's a whole different topic. But I want to encourage you guys to broaden the kinds of apples and other palm fruits, not pomegranates, but palm fruits in the Rosaceae family of plants on this planet. There are so many different kinds of fruits and vegetables on the planet, and most people stick to the common, maybe dozen or 2 dozen kinds, and they get the same ones every day. Every week they go to the grocery store. I'd much rather eat any of these fruits than say some bananas that are imported. Many of these fruits actually are sourced locally to me, whereas bananas are from thousands of miles away. Plus, in my opinion, these fruits have more potential health benefits than just bananas. Anyways, the fruits I'll be sharing with you guys today are, number one, some uncommon apples. These apples are known as pink pearl apples. They're an heirloom apple or heritage apple that I like. They're pink on the inside. One of my favorites are tart apple. Next, we're going to talk about the Asian pears, which are not exactly like pears, but a little bit different, and they're really pleasant. I love those a lot. Next, we're going to talk about the quince. Many people think you cannot eat quince raw. Normally you need to kind of let it sit out and get soft before you can eat it, but you can actually just chew on them like an apple, although I don't exactly do that myself. Next, we're going to talk about these. These are called the Crimson Gold Organic, and these are a cross between a crab apple and a standard apple. And finally, we're going to talk about these guys, and this is what prompted this video, because I saw these at my local Mexican market or Hispanic market. These are called Tejocotes, or these are known as the Mexican Hawthorns. So it's it looks kind of similar to an apple with a little stem and everything, and they're kind of related, but they're like distant cousins, if we had to say, right? So they're not exactly the same. These are normally used in some kind of like holiday like punch, and they're normally cooked. Same thing with the quince. Quince are normally used cooked, and most videos online will have them, like cooked or dehydrated or something. I encourage you guys, for the most health benefits in your fruits, in almost all instances, is to eat them raw if they can be eaten raw. You get higher levels of phytonutrients than you could get by cooking them, which can, reduce and remove some of the antioxidant properties, especially under heat. I mean, all these fruits are rich in things like vitamin C. They have things like polyphenols. More importantly, different kinds of fibers such as pectin. All these fruits can help you in one way or another to maybe get different health benefits, like lowering your blood pressure, having you to be regular, if you guys are having problems going to the bathroom. Maybe help you with intestinal ailments. There's lots of studies on some of these fruits on how these are health beneficial and health promoting, and I always encourage you guys to eat more fruits and get rid of more of that junk foods. Don't reach for the candy bar, reach for some tejocotes or some other fruits that you enjoy and love. All right, so I guess with that, let's just start digging in. I haven't eaten yet today, so this is the first thing I'm eating today. I normally drink a juice, but I thought I'd make this video. So first thing I'll tell you guys is I encourage you guys to get a good ceramic knife. These will oxidize the fruits less than a stainless steel knife. This happens to be a Kyocera micro serrated tomato knife in black. This is my favorite knife in my whole house. Super sharp, so watch out. So we're going to go ahead and take this. Now this was sourced like a month ago, so it's been in my fridge under cold storage, so the texture is probably not super good, but you guys could look at the color in there. It's nice and pink. We're going to go ahead and cut this one open too. Let's see how this guy looks. Oh yeah, look at that. really nice pink blush on that. Now these apples are more of like a tart style apple, so if you're really used to Fuji's, you're not going to appreciate this apple. First thing I've eaten today. Doesn't have a lot of flavor, not super sweet. It's kind of more of a softer texture because it's been hanging out a while. But I gotta love the anthocyanin content in the pinkness. I mean, to me, that tastes pretty much like a normal apple. I'd say a little bit better than the Granny Smith. Soft texture. Oh, and I want to let you guys know, on all these fruits, the most important part to eat on these fruits is the skin. Eat the skin. The skin has the most nutrition, so when you eat it and you bite the skin, chew the skin into little pieces. Try to turn it into a mush, right? If you swallow a piece of skin whole, you're not going to get all the benefits. There are studies that they literally will take, after they make applesauce, right? They'll peel the apples. They'll take all the peels. They'll, dry it, maybe freeze dried or dehydrate it, and then feed it to people or animals, which I do not agree with animal testing, and then feed them, the peels only, and then they'll get some amazing health benefits. So, as much as I like to think that a lot of health benefits in the inside flesh, which we love because it's sweet, more benefits in the peels. Other thing, the most microbiome benefits you're going to get from an apple is actually from the core, because I guess bacteria and things could live in there, although the seeds do contain cyanide in all these, so you may want to limit your consumption. I generally don't eat the seeds, but I will put the seeds through the juice that will get mashed up, and then I'll get some of the nutrients from the seeds. The seeds are highly health beneficial, but they could also be highly toxic because they're a concentrated source of nutrients, all right? Next, we're going to go ahead and cut into one of these Asian pears. There's so many different varieties. And, I'd encourage you guys to check your local better supermarkets that have more of an, rare or exotic fruit section, tropical fruit section. They may carry some of these, or in many instances, ethnic markets is where you will most likely find these, all right? So let's go ahead and cut a piece of this Asian pear. Now, this Asian pear is nice and hard and firm. That's how I normally eat them. You guys can see what they look like. And this is just like really kind of crunchy. It's like, this is a soft fiber on that apple. This is a more hard, like noticeable fiber. This Asian pear is not super sweet. Most of these fruits I got actually are picked when they're ripe. Actually, all these ones here were from like a local farm. Yeah, Asian pears, when you get a good one, they can be really good and crisp, but I find a lot of them when they're picked, a lot of these fruits, especially if you're just buying them at the grocery store, are just picked too early. Next, we're going to try the quince. I was with a girl from Europe. I think she's from like Germany, and we were like at a place and they had a quince tree. She just picked one off and ate it. I'm like in amazement, like, whoa, you're eating quince raw? It's supposed to be like, blended or cooked or something. And she's like, yeah, we ate them all the time as kids. I'm like, all right. Then I ate it. It actually was fine. It actually wasn't even that ripe when we found them. Anyways, these ones are ripe. They were harvested probably like late November. And how you could tell they're ripe is if you smell them, they really smell fragrant. The other thing you'll notice is you want them to be as colorful as possible. So these are a nice bright yellow. They'll be from green and starting to turn. They might be like, you would really want them bright yellow. There's many different cultivars. Like if you go to the store, it'll say Granny Smith apples, it'll say Red Delicious, it'll say Fuji. But if you go to the store to buy quince, it won't say pineapple quince or Van Dam quince or the different cultivars. It'll just say quince. So you're taking your chances. I got like 3 different cultivars, including pineapple. I don't know which one is which. So we're just going to go ahead and cut this off. Now when you cut this off, it says, some people say like, this has the texture of like a carrot because it's super rock hard. So like I got these at the farm. I left them like on the counter in my house for like a week or 2 before I'm making this video. And, they don't seem to be any harder than the Asian pear. Now, the secret for eating these raw is to slice them thin and, more importantly, get them as ripe as possible. The riper the fruit, the sweeter it's going to be. And how you tell if it's ripe in this case is you want to smell them. The more fragrant they are, the more ripe they are. Now, if I describe the smell of this, I mean, it literally smells like flowers. This is probably one of the best smelling fruits that I've ever smelt. Is that a word? All right, and then we're just gonna go ahead and once again slice off thin pieces. You could bite into this like an apple, but I personally don't think it's gonna be as an enjoyable experience. Even with my apples, I like to cut them up like this and then take little bites off. All right, so when I put that in my mouth, it's definitely a little bit drying. And that's probably because of the tannins in there. But like, it's toxic, I can't eat. You could eat it raw, don't trip. You know, we're all used to these highly hybridized fruits that are super sweet, that meet our flavor preferences, that meet our texture preferences of being soft and melting in your mouth and all this stuff. This is a lot more like a wild fruit. It hasn't really been hybridized as much. The texture reminds me kind of like first off, I gotta tell you guys, this is the most flavorful of the two different fruits I've tried so far. I mean, it smells like it tastes. Like, it smells like flowers, and when you get the bite, you bite into it, you squeeze out the juice. It really tastes like floral. I can't even explain it. It tastes floral, a tad bit sweet, and then just a lot of fiber to crunch on. So think of like if you ate a zucchini crossed with like an apple crossed with some flowers. Because the texture's like a zucchini, kind of like a zucchini, like just a green zucchini. Just a lot to chew on. So this is good. Fiber is good. We need to eat fiber for our microbiome, and I'm glad I'm eating some unique fibers today. You know, that's enjoyable. I don't know that you could mono meal this if you're really into it. I'd probably prefer if you ate like, you know, if you don't want to be hardcore, eat it straight, which, you know, we should get to enjoy new and different flavors. You could like do one slice of this and then eat like a Fuji apple, one slice of Fuji. They're kind of compatible. That way you get a sweetness, you get some hit from the Fuji of the sweetness and the softer texture, but then you get some of the floral flavor of this. Sometimes when I get lazy and I don't want to even eat these fruits, I'll just go ahead and juice them. Now, I do want you guys to be aware that these fruits, the quince, tend to brown a lot faster than the apple. So you don't want to just cut this open and then I'm going to eat the rest later and put it in your fridge. They're going to turn brown and start looking gross. Eat it now or process it now. A lot of these kind of fruits here, I end up juicing because that allows me to extract and break down the peels, in some cases, better than I could with my teeth. As well as, you know, remove some but not all the fiber. Even apple juice that's unstrained, made at home, can be healthy for you. You know, processed apple juices and processed juices in the store I'm not a fan of, but if you're keeping and retaining the fiber, doing it at a slow pace, I will, if I juice these, they'll be under vacuum, so I'm not going to oxidize them. That's the best way to do it. All right, next we got Crimson Gold apples. Now these are from, I think, Kayama Orchards in California. These are organic. This is a cross between a traditional apple and a crab apple. Crab apples are quite small and they're known to be tart, so we're going to see how tart these guys are. Other thing I want to let you guys know is that these smaller fruits that I'm eating last are the most health beneficial. Now, why would they be the most health beneficial? Well, I said it earlier, the skin's the most important part of the fruit, right? These have a lot more skin area compared to flesh area than the bigger ones that have less skin area and more pulp or fruit area. All right, so let's go ahead and slice this up. This just looks like a standard apple inside, Crimson Gold. I mean, that's pleasant. I mean, definitely not as sweet as a Fuji. It's not tart at all. I mean, it has a sweetness similar to like a Gala apple. I mean, it's alright. Nothing to write home about. Alright, has it like a unique flavor? I don't know. Would I get these again? I mean, they're cute. I don't think they're anything super special myself. Alright, now to the grand finale, the Tejocote or Mexican Hawthorn Fruit. These guys look like little apples, and I've never tried these before in my life that I can remember. Maybe I did a long time ago. These used to be banned in the United States, and they could not import these from Mexico. That had since changed, so now you should be able to find these. They're being imported from Mexico, and they can be in all different stages of ripeness. There was a big display at my Mexican market. Sometimes you got to buy them in a little box or a bag, and you can't select the ripeness. They just had them open, and I got to pick through them, so I literally picked like all the ripe ones that are like really nice full color. You can see what I picked like a non-ripe one at the bottom, like a green one, to show that sometimes they sell them like that. I always encourage you guys to pick your fruits as ripe as possible, and how you'll know is that you want it to be as colorful as possible. The more color the fruit has in general, the more ripe it'll be. The more ripe it is, the more nutrition it'll have, and the sweeter it will be. That's why I picked them all. And so we're just going to go ahead and cut this into little slices. Now the texture of this is kind of like a Quince, a little more firm. And I mean, it basically just looks like an apple on the inside there. I really love the blushing, the orange red on the outside. And if we smell it, oh wow! This has a very unique flavor. Now I like this, like the apples to me and the Asian pear don't really have too much of a smell or scent to it. The Quince had the most scent. This has the second most scent. It has a very like unique, different smell. I can't really describe it. I mean, I mean, I don't want to say it's intoxicating, but it's like it grows on you. I wouldn't say it. Man, it smells like a flower that wants to be sweet, but it's not. And here's the thing, you know, it is said that these are tart, these are sour, these are I don't know what, and you got to cook them to eat them. So we got a ripe one. And the other thing I want to know is I looked up a bunch of studies on these guys, and once again, these will just be called tejocotes in the store. You buy them, but there are many different cultivars of tejocotes in Mexico, and depending on what region they're grown, or you know, it might be a different cultivar. So different cultivars may be sweeter or less sweet and have different properties. So, oh wow, and these are browning very quick. I just sliced it even with a ceramic knife and it's starting to brown. So let's try this. Wow, the smell is interesting. So it's really soft. When you bite into it, even though it's a bit firmer to cut, I could see why they would cook this normally. Yeah, the Quince was sweeter than this. This is really not sweet at all. I wouldn't say it's like, I'm not getting astringency. Like the saliva being sucked out of my mouth like I'm eating a pomegranate. It tastes like it smells, so you have a taste of like that, the smell, which is very interesting. But it's almost like eating something very, very, very neutral for me. Now, you know, I didn't eat maybe we'll try the unripe one on the bottom here. Let's see what the green one tastes like. All right, the unripe one, let's see if that tastes worse than the ripe one here. It's all in the name of science. Wow, this is a lot more harder to cut into. Oh yeah, look at that. That one's way unripe. That's like an unripe apple, right? Totally green. Here's a comparison. Green versus like just regular apple looking like. Now we're gonna try this one. I still have that flavor. That kind of like, I don't know, fruity, weird flavor. It's like totally unique. I think this might be like, maybe like learned, like you could learn to like this. But this one has that flavor, but then it's like just really chewy. I'm not getting astringency. I'm not getting bitter. I'm not getting sour. I'm just getting like vegetable. I'm getting like, this is like a zucchini with this weird flavor. Definitely not as enjoyable. Yeah, so the difference between getting the green ones and getting ripe ones. I would say definitely get the ripe ones. Let's go ahead and see if I can find a riper one, see if that tastes any different. Now the sad thing is, because these are pretty much localized to like, you know, Mexico, I looked up the studies and trying to find the studies like, okay, what properties are in these fruits that make it like so good for you? Well, of course, there's high in pectin, of course, all the, you know, vitamin C and antioxidants and polyphenols and all these things. there was no really specific things that they said it was good for, but that being said, I know if they started studying these things, they would probably say that the skin has the most nutrients. But I'm sure there's some, unique nutrients in this that are not found in other palm fruits. All right, another piece of the Tejocote. I mean, to me, this is like neutral. It's like, if you get a banana and you buy the banana and it's not totally ripe, but you're like hungry, you want to eat it, and you eat it and it like tastes like kind of like nothing. Or even actually an unripe banana probably has like a little chalkiness in your mouth. This to me is a tad bit more enjoyable. Definitely not sweet at all. I'm not getting any like hint of sweetness at all. And that's why they probably usually cook this and add sugar to it to make it sweet, to make their punch. But it has that unique flavor. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to juice some apples after this with these fruits. So I'll be able to get the flavor with the sweetness in a more natural way. Plus, I mean, to me, this is probably like a learned thing. I mean, it's cool. And I would encourage you guys to try these and eat them. And during the holidays when they're in season, like they just came into season now, December, and they'll probably be in season for another month or two. I'll buy them and I'll eat them because, for me, it's very important to expand and increase the diversity of different kinds of foods, especially foods that I haven't eaten before. There are thousands of kinds of different fruits and vegetables on the planet that you haven't ever experienced because usually you get the same ones each and every week. Hopefully in this episode, you've learned about some unique fruits that hopefully you'll be able to find near you, and you'll try them and you'll start eating them. And maybe some of you guys will enjoy these. Like, wow, John, this is like my favorite fruit. Actually, if I meet somebody and they say, oh, the Tejocote is my favorite fruit, I'm thinking about prize. I mean, it's a good fruit. It's a unique fruit. And I'm sure it's a pretty healthy fruit. And definitely going to be loaded up with some fiber today. But yeah, that's the goal of this episode, is to encourage you guys to broaden the fruits and vegetables you eat. Go to the ethnic markets and find some of these fruits that you haven't tried before. I saw these at the 99 only stores. In town, they're like $1.99 for a pound. So you could try them. And worst case, you could juice them. If you don't like them, juice them with some apples, and I'm sure they're going to taste good. Probably dehydrating them also work good. Yeah, really unique fruit, unique flavor, not super sweet, like basically no sweetness at all, more like I'd call it a vegetable fruit. But you know what? Here's the thing. We got messed up taste buds, guys. We've been eating processed sugar since we were a kid, and we need to get away. Like in the wild, fruits would taste more like this. They wouldn't all be super sweet. They'd be more wild fruits tasting like this, and this is what we need to, encourage ourselves to get back to and eat more of these non-sweet fruits. So once again, that technique I like, eat one bite of this and then have one bite of a Fuji apple and then rotate them through, and so you could get these in you. I think you'll be healthier in the end because of it. If you guys enjoyed this episode and want me to do more exotic, weird fruit tasting, because I get all kinds of different weird fruits in my life, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Also, please be sure to share this video with somebody else so you can expose them to different kinds of fruits that they've never tried before as well. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss my new upcoming episodes that come out every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up or what you'll be learning on my YouTube channel. Make sure you click the little bell to get notified as my new videos come out. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are wealth of knowledge. Over 500 episodes at this time on this YouTube channel dedicated to teach you guys all about eating more healthy fruits and vegetables. So with that, my name is John Kohler with OKRAW.com. We'll see you next time. Until then, remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables, including your pink pearl apples, Tejocotes, and Quince. You'll be healthier because of it.